Yang Hu was a military general of the Jin dynasty around the time that the Emperor Sima Yan faced two major military issues: incessant harassment from Sun Hao's armies of Wu and tribal uprisings in Xin and Liang provinces. Many officials advised Sima Yan to deal with the rebels before considering conquering Wu, but Yang Hu, Wang Jun, and Zhonghua encouraged him to also prepare the southern and eastern borders for war. Yang Hu's advocacy for plans to conquer Wu finally persuaded the emperor, but he did not live to see his plans implemented. Both his grandfather and father served as commandery administrators, while his mother was a daughter of the historian and musician Cai Yong. This makes Cai Yan his aunt. Xin Xianying was another one of his aunts, while his eldest sister Yang Huayi became Sima Shi's third wife. Xie Haoba's daughter also became his own wife, so for better or for worse, he was well connected. He was born in 221 but is not known where, and he lost his father Yang Dao at age 11. He faithfully served his uncle Yang Dan, who continued to raise the boy, who grew to become known for his intelligence and knowledge. As Yang Hu matured, so did his physical beauty, where Chen Shou described him as a man of medium height with fine eyebrows and a beautiful beard. Xie Haoyuan's fourth son, Xie Haowei, knew Yang Hu since he was young. He felt that he was a standout talent, so asked his brother to arrange a marriage for him, and so he became married to Xie Haoba's daughter. In 249, after Sima Yi's coup, Xie Haoba fled to Shu out of fear, and Yang Hu was one of the few related by marriage who still dared to associate with the Xie Hao clan. He only served as a low-level official throughout the reigns of Cao Mao and Cao Huan, until his aunt Xin Xianying advised him on how to raise his status. In 263, she asked her nephew why Zhong Shiji is going west, to which he answered, "He's leading a campaign to conquer Shu." She cautioned him that Zhonghui won't remain subordinate to others for long, so he went to warn Sima Zhao about it. After the predicted rebellion was put down, Sima Zhao began to greatly trust Yang Hu's judgment, so he hired him to serve as an executive secretary. When Sima Yan succeeded his father Zhao, he ended the Cao Wei dynasty in order to make a clear regime change, establishing the Jin dynasty in 266. As Emperor Wu, Sima Yan immediately sought to avoid what he saw as Cao Wei's fatal weakness, a lack of power among the imperial princes. He promoted many of his uncles, cousins, brothers and sons, so he also wanted to make Yang Hu a duke, but he declined the position. Throughout the early parts of Emperor Wu's reign, Yang Hu was one of the few key officials who strenuously advocated for the conquest of Wu, and the emperor liked the strategies he submitted. He took charge of the western border from Xianyang, but in 272 he failed in his mission to rescue the defector Bu Chan. He was thwarted by Lu Xun's son, Lu Kang, and temporarily demoted, but he was soon restored back to rank. Sima Yan wanted to reform the justice system to make it more merciful, but the key benefactors of his changes turned out to be the nobles. At the same time, he sent envoys to Wu to cease hostilities between the two states in order to buy his Jin dynasty time for making preparations. It quickly became clear to the people that the new laws were being dealt out in an unequal manner, but Yang Hu provided mercy to the people on his own account. Upon returning to his rank and post at Xianyang, he started relaxing relations on the border through talks with Lu Kang and the Wu soldiers. He treated the local Wu residents with kindness to win over their loyalty, but Lu Kang countered with his own gestures of goodwill towards the Wei people. After Lu Kang passed away in 274, however, the border residents became increasingly impressed with the Jin dynasty, thanks to Yang Hu's efforts. From Xianyang, he supervised military affairs in Jing province for the next few years. He planned the conquest of Wu with a multi-directional approach, and submitted his final strategy to the court. It pointed out that they could take advantage of Yi province by sending a navy downstream, and he secretly recommended to appoint Wang Jun to oversee the construction of the fleet. His plan was as follows: Jin forces in Yi to attack Wu from the west on both land and water, Jin forces in Jing province to attack Xiangling, Jin forces in Yu province to attack Xiaku, Jin forces in Shu, Yang, Xing and Yan to attack Jianyi. The idea of attacking from multiple directions is to confuse Wu and further demoralize them from the realization of an overwhelming invasion. Wu's only advantage is when they fight on the water, but we will force them to retreat behind their walled cities and fortresses, where our forces will gain the upper hand. Sun Hao is cruel in his punishments, superstitious, and indulges himself in wine and women. Many Wu subjects will see our invasion as a long-awaited opportunity to defect to our side. Sima Yan strongly agreed, but when the proposal was put up for discussion, many officials including Jia Chong, Shou, and Fang argued against it. Only Du Yu and Zhonghua supported the proposal. During his tenure in Jing, he governed the region well by gaining the locals' trust and respect, but also attracted many defectors from the Wu side, a task made easier by the Wu Emperor Sun Hao, who was a tyrant. He made little effort to prepare his state for the inevitable invasion. At the same time, Yang Hu reassigned many soldiers from the borders to agricultural colonies. When he first arrived in Jing, they had less than 100 days worth of food stockpiled, but by the end of his third year, the province had enough to last them for about 10 years. When he fell ill in 277, he performed his final act of service for the empire by recommending Du Yu to succeed him. This capable officer was one of the most important commanders during Zhonghui's conquest of Shou and would go on to lay waste to the Wu army in not the greatest length of time. His military achievements are all the more impressive considering his physical weakness. He was unable to ride a horse or shoot an arrow with significant force. Yang Hu passed away in 278 after he moved back to Luoyang due to poor health, just a few months after his sister Yang Huiyu. The people of Xianyang built a monument to him on Mount Xi'an. Visitors often arrived and wept in memory of his benevolent governance, so it became known as the Monument of Tears. Even after the Jin dynasty had conquered Wu, he was well remembered, as Sima Yan arranged to have the Declaration of Victory read at his shrine. The conquest of Wu by Jin is significant, as it not only ended the chaos of the Three Kingdoms period, but was also the first successful large-scale military operation where a massive invasion force crossed the Yangtze River. As such, his wife Lady Xihao was awarded an estate of over 5,000 taxable houses in appreciation for her late husband's efforts.